Duck entries, duck entries, duck entries, duck entries. So that's all clear, and no need to talk anymore about that.
No.
There's not
Hey, everybody out there. Welcome back to another episode of the Audiophiles. It's your man, John, over there, and I am Andy. Welcome. Welcome back to another episode, folks. John, you're going to be offering up something for me to go off and listen to today to feast my ears upon. What have you got in store, my friend?
okay. So it's a band, Northampton's finest. We have covered them before, and also their subsequent offspring. It's been a couple of years. Bauhaus.
Oh, okay. Okay. Kind of that gothic, kind of post-punky
Goth's the
kind of,
word.
yeah. Cool. All right. I am familiar, thanks to you and actually a couple stray individuals that I've crossed paths with. I'm familiar with some Bauhaus, but not a lot. So, as I'm sure you know. So, what is the track today?
Track is Dark Entries.
Dark Entries. Okay. Ooh, that's evocative. All right, let me go off and wade into these the dark waters of Dark Entries, and I will give it a go and come back and let you know what I've made of it. Nice feedback. I like this energy. This guy, forgive me if I don't recall, it's been a minute since we've done Bauhaus, but this is Peter Murphy. Is that the lead singer? I like the sound of it. I just can't hear a damn thing that he's saying. Let me pull that back and try to catch it. Regardless of whether, my ears are trained to catch every single word that he's saying here, it doesn't really matter because, frankly, the sound of all of it is working for me. The way they assembled this and built it up with this kind of uneasy tension and energy. It's a little frenetic or skittish. I like it. I really do. But let's see if I can give this another attempt at discerning these vocals. A jug, some pills, some screaming, and some pain. Doesn't sound great. Don't have I haven't connected all those dots, obviously. But this energy matches, even with that scant amount of information as far as lyrical content is concerned, the energy in this music matches some of just those keywords that I caught. So yeah, interesting stuff. Again, really liking the energy in this one.
He's a Lexington on his compound road, started some lonesome nothing road. And morning well beating up a glass grave, all walking by the track as the same old used to be out.
If I didn't know that the name of the song was Dark Entries, I could have sworn that they were saying Dark Entrails, which is pretty dark actually. And again, like we get this kind of monotone. It sounds good with this in this environment, but this kind of like monotone, flat, blah, 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 and I can't understand what he's saying. But the group chanting of the titular line is pretty cool in there.
He's a Lexington on his compound road, started some lonesome nothing road. And morning well beating up a glass grave, all walking by the track as the same old used to be opposite services. Exploitation of his body is work. So the people walk fire picks up off his nerves, and he lays the vices his eye.
Heartbeat. Yeah, I really loved the Dark Entries. I was gonna say I really love the dark energy in this, which wasn't intentional, but it fits. You know, there's this the guitar's got this kind of like frictious, itchy nature to it, which I think fits this kind of tension riddled ditty really well. There's a lot of this, like I said before, this dark energy to all of this, where it just feels a little off, but in a right way. There's a lot of like stabbing nature to the guitar accent work throughout this, and that rolling bass line. And speaking of rolls, some of what the drums do throughout this as well is really great. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like deathly foreboding or anything, but it's got this, a little bit of this wrong to it. Something's off. But it toes that line really nicely without going too wonky or crazy. So yeah, I really enjoyed the way this one sounded. I'd love to get, I mean, I probably caught a handful of, I don't even know if lyrics is accurate. I know the term phrases is not. I caught words intermittently throughout. Maybe a couple, bits and pieces of phrases, but nothing to really form an honest opinion about what it's about. I mean, the words that I did catch matched this sort of like darkness. That I keep going back to that word dark. Clearly the title is playing a role in my estimations of the mood or the feeling of the song, but it's there. I don't think you really need the title to underscore for you. It's nice that it does, but there is this kind of seedy dashes of tension throughout this that makes it a lot of fun and really interesting. And given that Bauhaus tends to lean into the goth with its kind of like post-punk sound, that totally makes sense. So I'd love to learn more about it. I'm sure John will be able to shed some light on not only the lyrical content, but the meaning thereof. So let's get back to him and see what he has to say about this one.
Count Duckula is back. So you've had to listen to Dark Entries by Bauhaus. Please let me know your night terrors.
I will. I will. This wouldn't be a bad soundtrack to Night Terrors. I would enjoy it much more if I was witnessing someone else's Night Terrors than having them myself. But yeah, this is. I mean, it fit the mold that I assumed I was going to be listening to when I press play, knowing what I know about these guys and my previous experience listening to them, which is all a good thing. It begins with this elongated bit of warbly feedback before shifting into this descending riff on the guitar that is punctuated by strikes on the hi-hat. I love this reoccurring descending bit of notation. And it kind of adds to the overall God, there's so many words that could be used to describe this song. There's obviously tension in here. This isn't like foreboding in the most like immediate sense, like, oh God, it's right around the corner, but there's this lingering sense of unrest to all of this. And I think what really adds to that is all of the weird stuff the guitars do throughout this track. So the beat proper kicks in, and there's this killer bass line that joins the party, and we've now got some serious movement to the track. Every so often, as the song progresses, but before the vocals begin, there appears to be another guitar kind of injecting in a bit of these bits of strummed accent work. Then is it Peter Murphy, the singer for the group? Yeah, great. Pulled that one out of my hoop. So he comes in singing, and it's like in his style, I say flat as in not the opposite of sharp, but like just one level of like kind of he's not flying all over doing vocal runs, and who would expect that with a Bauhaus song, unless there's stuff out there that I've yet to hear where he's flying all over the map. But he's kind of doing this flat delivery, but it's pretty rapid as well. So I'm not catching a lot of what he's saying, just bits and pieces. Like I'm lucky if I caught a couple phrases throughout all of this track. But there's something about caressing and being bent up or pent up by a jug. And then something about pills. And I'm thinking he's either, infirmed or in the throes of addiction. And either way, that doesn't sound like a great place to be. But this supposition of mine is wobbly at best, kind of like the guitars throughout this. The next stanza and the bits of it that I catch do very little to clear any of this up. As we're, something about being in bed and being in pain, and then what sounded like a request for more pain or to stay in pain or something like that. And from this infirmary bed, we go walking through the neon lights of the city, which I think is one of the rare phrases that I caught throughout this song. And that's about as much lyrical content that I can catch in this opening bit. But just after another portion, the guitar starts stabbing the soundscape with this bit of like almost discordant string bends and bits of accent work that to these ears all sounds pretty cool. Murphy fires off another stanza or two of lyrics that I can't catch a lick of. And then the guitar again provides more of that interesting accent work by injecting bits of fuzzy and frenetic strum patterns. Then some group vocals come in, chanting the titular line, all while Murphy's reciting something in this indiscernible flat monotone along with it. It doesn't sound bad. I just can't for the life of me figure out what he's saying in this part. This is followed by some of that manic guitar writhing that gives way to another round of Murphy firing off something I couldn't make out. And then a lovely bit of like this book ending with some more of this guitar fun that's been had. And then we get treated to more of that repeating titular line as the guitar whines and the rhythm section chugs away until we dismount on a resonant guitar and a bit of that feedback to kind of cap things off. So yeah, while I didn't understand most of it, really any of it, I would say, that as far from a lyrical standpoint, I did get this dark mood from this, which comes as little surprise given it's Bauhaus. I also really enjoyed this kind of itchy, niggling guitar work that is really what added the tension to the song, or the most amount of tension. And it gave it this, as itchiness would suggest, this bit of discomfort throughout it. And I loved it. I thought that sounded great. So overall, the great energy to this track, great way of like creating and solidifying a mood throughout it. Even if I didn't catch a lick of the lyrics, which I'm sure probably helped underscore or add to this feeling of discomfort. So tell me more about the track, especially the lyrics, but really as a whole, please. I'm really interested to hear what this is all about.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I picked it because this is their most frenetic, particularly guitars. It was
Yes,
awesome.
yeah.
And most of the stuff is like a touch slower normally. It's a feel, piece, an atmosphere kind of piece, and that atmosphere is I don't know, Sweeney Todd's basement or something. It's just it's something not right.
Yes.
I've got the lyrics, which I've never actually known right up until now. I've been listening to this since like mid-80s.
Good to
and
know
they
that I'm
were
not alone. I thought it was just my
Nah,
Yankee ears
just
and their
ears.
inability to
This
discern.
I'd say I probably picked up by listening to it like several hundred times about 35% of the words. And now I've got 100% of the words. It doesn't make any more sense anyway, to be honest with you.
Fair.
I mean, the imagery is as thick as custard, so take what you want out of it. So, yeah, as we discussed, we go and hunt it down. I'll put a link in below to the previous episode, Silent Hedges. We talked more about the band, its formation, blah, 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 blah. So we'll just concentrate on this episode, on the song itself. Just a quick reminder of the personnel. Pete Murphy, vocals, Daniel Ash, guitars, David J, bass guitar and vocals, and Kevin Haskins, drums. So this song was actually the band's second single, following on their debut, Bela Lugosi's Dead, and it was released as a standalone single in 1980. So again, really early. The single was released 6 times. So firstly, in January 1980, on the Axis label. When Axis realized that there was another company claiming that name, they changed the label's name to 4AD. So this is the first 4AD single.
Wow.
Which is, again, amazing. Then they signed a sort of, what do you call it, distribution kind of deal with Beggar's Banquet. So it was released in the following month on Beggar's Banquet, and then released in later editions on 4AD. So, in a feature for The Quietus, Mick Mercer included Dark Entries at number 4 and his list of the 30 best goth records of all time. And later on in that year, in 1980, their debut album came out, In a Flat Field, which is that bad boy there, which doesn't include this song. But then further reissues down the years, particularly on CD, have bunged in all the extras, an extra disc, and Dark Entries has always been lumped in with it because time-wise it fits.
Yeah.
So AllMusic says of this, Bauhaus's second single, Dark Entries, rides in on a squall of feedback and percussion, crashing on for some 45 seconds before Peter Murphy finally unveils one of his most breathless vocals. Recorded live in the studio, it was a far punkier offering than the band's then prevalent reputation allowed for. An exhilarating thunderstorm of sound, its breakneck pace, unrelenting even when Murphy launches into a virtually spoken word passage. Behind him, the band continues to thrash with a constant repetition of the title, a speeding bulldozer of energy. So I liked it. We'll get into the lyrics now and learn a bit more about the song. So I put in my notes, guitars descending into the inferno. It's like they go down to each ring of the circle of hell as they're going down.
Right, yeah.
It's really, really, it's simple, but it's really effective start. It's a great start. And then Mr. Murphy doing his best impersonation of Bela Lugosi or Lurch from the Addams Family. Um, caressing, bent up to the jug again, with sheaths and pills invading all those stills. In a hovel of a bed, I will scream in vain. Oh, please, Miss Lane, leave me with some pain. Went walking through this city's neon lights in fear of disguising my warping, seething pressure lines. Among confident airs, intangible of price, trying so hard to find out what was right. I came upon your room. Dark entries? It's stuck into my head. We leapt into the bed, degrading even lice. She took delight in taking down my shielded pride. When you listen to it, it sounds like she says taking down my shitty pride. It's really funny. Um, until exposed became my darker side, puckering up and down those avenues of sin. Too cheap to ride, they're worth a try, if only for the old times, cold times. Don't go waving your pretentious love. We get that bridge bit, and then he goes into his proper, real, sinister hour narrator's voice. He's soliciting on his tan brown brogues, gyrating, and they're singing about dark entries, gyrating through some lonesome devil's row. Dark entries, pinpointing well-meaning upper-class prey of walking money checks possessing holes. He sleekly offers his services, exploitation of his finer years' work, hung with loosely woven fabrics of office clerks. Any lay suffices his eye. And then we go back into this sort of chorus. I came upon your room. It stuck into my head. We leapt into the bed, degrading even lice. Took delight in taking down my shielded pride, until exposed became my darker side. Puckering up and down those avenues of sin, too cheap to ride, they're worth a try, if only for the old times. Don't go waving your pretentious love. Dark entries, dark entries, dark entries, dark entries. So that's all clear, and no need to talk anymore about that.
No.
There's lots of weird, I would say it's almost like Victorian imagery. And there's lots of people have got various, there's bits to it that don't fit an overall narrative, but there's prostitution, drug addiction, booze, obviously, this sort of seedy underbelly of life. But you can imagine them all wearing top hats and tails. It's kind of that almost foggy old London town Jack the Ripper sort of scene, And they do go back to it in another song as well. But according to Song Facts, this song tells a story of Dorian Gray, the title character of Irish playwright and wit Oscar Wilde's only novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Bauhaus frontman Peter Murphy explained it to Mojo magazine in September 2010, why it is his favourite novel. In quotes, it was the first book with real substance that I chose for myself. It's a story of great narcissism and esoteric interior, and brilliantly written. It's a window into this personality, this Oscar Wilde chap I'd heard about. The language is so opulent. It's a rock star story, really. So there you go. So I think there's a bit of that sort of imagery in there of perhaps someone exploiting other people, leaping into the bed and degrading human life. Sounds really sort of grim. But also there's other bits where it sounds like he's a male prostitute or a gigolo. Apparently the town brown brogues are supposed to reference Dorian Gray. And the reference to Miss Lane, I don't know, but it does. I read it when I was at school years ago. I thought it was all right, but I think Oscar Wilde's witticisms are sometimes better than some of his writing, but that's just my take. Loads of people love him, including Mr. Peter Murphy. So I think overall though, it does create this feel and this almost like this little world they've created, which feels definitely black and white, probably a bit misty and murky, and definitely seedy. And as you say, it's got all that sort of nasty, sticky floor sort of.
Just lascivious nature to everything they've painted here.
And that's about as much as you're gonna get.
That's really all you need, I suppose. You can let your imagination do the rest.
But within the Bauhaus catalogue, And it took me a long time, but I am a fan, you know. And my good friend Rob sort of did a lot of tapes for me of them, and there's a lot of people at school that were fans of them, and I wasn't particularly. And um, when they really hit the mark, there it's great. And I think this is one of those songs that really does. It's just, you know, and it sounds of them as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It really does. And in 1980, this is a great sound to be producing. It really is. Cool. So I thought I'd just give you another slice of Bauhaus for a
Well,
change.
I'm glad you did. Like you said, and I was pretty quick to observe too. It sounds so them, but what better example to offer up somebody if you were to just be like, if this was my first time listening to them, it'd be an excellent introduction to just their sound, their aesthetic, and what they aim for in their songs. So yeah, I thought this was a great track. A lot of fun to listen to, and those guitar, just all that, like
It
I
really
said,
is, yeah.
the itchiness that the guitar almost gives you from listening to it, it is conveyed so well and clearly. Not using that term ironically because I know it doesn't sound the clearest, but it still conveys clearly that mood and that feeling. So yeah, this was a lot of fun to listen to. As you said, a bit of a mood piece or a feel piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has that in droves.
Cool. All right. I shall wrap things up. Thanks for listening to this, Andy.
Thank you.
Folks out there, please tell us what you think. Do hit the like button if you like this and drop us a comment. We love to hear about your take on Dark Entries. Very carefully worded that. So yeah, please drop us a line and tell us what you think. Bauhaus as well and all good stuff. If you think of some other tracks that we could listen to from Bauhaus, then please do suggest them. We're always willing to listen. I've got in mind perhaps another song that's slightly different to theirs that has quite a funky take, and fans of Bauhaus will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, interesting.
But don't, you know what I mean. But yeah, please drop us a line. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. We really appreciate everybody to support the channel. It does help. We get to a certain number and then we're allowed to go home. So yeah, please do subscribe. That being said, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see all of you on the next episode of the Audiophiles.
See you later, guys.